Hello everyone and welcome to video 2 of our quality management system training series. My name is Nathaniel Babu, the lead project consultant and a certified integrated management system lead auditor at the Solutions for Smart Businesses. Today we are going to cover clause 1, that is scope, clause 2, normative references, and clause 3, terms and definitions of ISO 9001:2015. Before we proceed, take a moment to subscribe to this training channel, like this video, and share it with your colleagues so they can also benefit from this learning experience. Before we dive deep into today's sessions, let's do a quick recap of video 1 which we covered last Sunday. By the end of video 1, participants were able to gain a solid understanding of the basic principles of ISO and the fundamentals of quality management system QMS. They were also able to understand the components and standards that make up ISO 9001. They became familiar with and navigate the ISO 9001 certification process. They were also able to acquire practical skills on how to develop an implementation roadmap for ISO 9001:2015. And last, they were able to explore and understand the historical development and the structural framework of ISO 9001:2015. So today we do have three learning expectations. Under clause 1, that is scope, all the participants will be able to understand the applicability and customer satisfaction focus. Under clause 2, that is normative references, all the participants will be able to know that ISO 9001:2015 is the primary reference. And last expectation, that's under clause number 3, terms and definition, all the participants will be able to familiarize themselves with key terms from ISO 9001:2015 and apply them within the QMS. Now let's dive deep into all the three clauses, but we'll start with clause 1, which is scope, by doing a quick definition of scope. The organization must clearly define the scope of its QMS. Now, this includes specifying the products and services covered as well as any applicable statutory and regulatory requirements. Now, to establish the scope, the organization needs to consider its internal and external context, including the needs and expectations of interested parties, the nature of its activities, and the impact of external factors. Now, when an organization is seeking to be ISO certified, there are some clauses within the standard that are not applicable in their day-to-day operations. Thus, exclusions. The organization may choose to exclude certain activities, products, or services from the scope of its QMS if they do not apply to its operations or if they fall under the scope of other management systems. However, any exclusions must be justified and not affect the organization's ability to meet customer and regulatory requirements. What are the implications of clause 1? The scope statement serves as a crucial reference point for understanding the extent of the QMS. It also helps in defining responsibilities, setting objectives, and determining the processes and resources required for effective quality management. Summary to clause 1. Now, clause 1 sets the foundation for the entire ISO 9001:2015 standard implementation within an organization by clearly defining what falls within the scope of its quality management system and what does not. It also ensures that the organization's QMS is relevant, effective, and aligned with its strategic objectives and shareholders' needs. We move on to clause 2, which is normative references, and we're going to do a quick definition of the same. Normative references are documents stated within ISO 9001:2015 that are indispensable for the application of the standard. These documents may include other ISO standards, national or international regulations, industry guidelines, or organizational procedures that are necessary for interpreting and implementing ISO 9000 requirements effectively. What is the role when it comes to clause 2? Normative references provide additional context and guidance for interpreting the requirements of ISO 9001:2015. They help clarify terminology, concepts, and expectations, ensuring consistent understanding and application of the standard across different organizations and industries. Integration with the ISO 9001. Now, organizations implementing ISO 9001 are expected to familiarize themselves with the normative references cited in the standard. This involves obtaining and studying the relevant documents to ensure compliance with applicable requirements and best practices. What are the implications of clause 2? Now, compliance with normative references is essential for achieving conformity to ISO 9001:2015. Organizations need to ensure that they have access to, understand, and apply the reference documents as appropriate to their quality management system. Failure to consider these references may result in non-conformance during audits or evaluations. Uh, we come to the summary of clause 2. Now, clause 2 serves to connect ISO 9001:2015 with other relevant standards and documents essential for its implementation. Now, by acknowledging and integrating normative references, organizations can enhance their understanding of quality management principles, requirements, and best practices, thereby facilitating effective QMS implementation and continual improvement. Now we come to the last clause, that is clause 3, terms and definitions. We're going to do a quick definition of the same. Clause 3 contains definitions for certain terms used in ISO 9001:2015. Now, these definitions are intended to provide clarity and consistency in the interpretation of the standards requirements. Now, they cover terminologies related to quality management systems, processes, and associated concepts. Consistency and interpretation. Now, by establishing clear definitions, Clause 3 helps ensure that all stakeholders involved in implementing or auditing an ISO compliant quality management system has a common understanding of the terminology used. Now, this reduces ambiguity and misinterpretation, promoting consistent application of the standards requirements across different organizations and industries. Reference for implementation. Now, organizations implementing ISO 9001:2015 are expected to refer to the defined terms and their meanings when establishing, documenting, and communicating their quality management system. Now, using consistent terminology facilitates effective communication, collaboration, and alignment of activities within the organization. What are the implications of Clause 3? Now, compliance with the defined terms in clause 3 is essential for achieving conformity to ISO 9001:2015. Now, organizations need to ensure that their personnel understand and use the defined terminologies accurately and consistently throughout the implementation and maintenance of their quality management system. Now, this ensures that everyone involved shares a common understanding of the standards requirements and objectives. A quick summary of clause 3. Now, clause 3 serves to establish a standardized language for discussing quality management concepts and requirements within the context of ISO 9001:2015. Now, by providing clear definitions, this clause promotes consistency, clarity, and effective communication, which are essential for the successful implementation and maintenance of quality management systems. Ladies and gentlemen, As we end today's session, I would like to sincerely thank you for your time, engagement, and patience. Your participation made this session productive and enriching. We look forward to having you in the next session, that is video 3, where we are going to cover clause 4 on context of the organization. Before you leave, please remember to subscribe, like, and share this video so others can also benefit from this training. Thank you once again and have a wonderful day.